All right, this will be my last video. I know I didn't post that many today. This should be the last one. So I want to talk about money again. This time I'm going to talk about ways of making money. All right, so we're not going to go too much into history. I'll get right to the point. Now, when I was 20, how old was I? When I was 23, turning 24. No, sorry. Okay, when I was 23, I worked full time at that valet job, which was fine. And then I came back. I flew back from Colombia, and I didn't have that job anymore. So I started working random jobs at factories. I heard about this place, and it was called Labor Ready. I don't know if it still exists. You'd show up there at 6 in the morning or 5:30 a.m. to be first on the list. They would put people who were first on the list, and then at about 7 o'clock or 6:30. So you showed up at about 5 a.m. About 6:30, they start giving you a job. You would have a different location to go to. They would give you bus fare, and you would get bus fare. You take the bus and you go to a place. You go work there for the day. Come back to Labor Ready at 5 o'clock or 5:36, and they would pay you. They would give you a check right there. Either they would give you cash or they would give you a check to cash right there. So I heard about it. I was like, dude, why even get a job? I'll just go do that, you know? If I don't like the place, I don't have to work there the next day anyway. So who gives a shit? The most I worked at a place was 5 days in a row. You know what I mean? I'm doing random labor jobs. You know what I mean? But I was like, it's not that bad. So I was doing it. I did night shift, I did all these different shifts. Like I literally worked so even after, when Labor Ready ended, I just started going with different labor agencies. We got a shitload of them in Canada, by the way. So they can't even fill up all the positions. So I was just working at place to place every different week. I worked at like 30 different places in 6 months. In 6 months, I robbed a bank. Prior to robbing the bank, about a month and a half prior, I get this job, and it's at this place called, I won't say the name, it's called something, and which blank, it's called Blank Solar. They were selling solar panels to homes. They had some weird, like everything was educated, like government-wise, and they had some kind of government credit going on or some government deal where people who would get the solar panel, they'd get it for free. The government would pay for the solar panel so that because they were trying to promote free energy or whatever. And then the person would use that electricity for free. And the only problem was that it was supposed to be non-appealing, or it would look ugly on the house, so people didn't want it. So that was the whole deal, was that in order to get them, it was a government. Anyways, so it was kind of like a scam. I don't know if it was a scam. I went to their meetings and I was just like, dude, this shit is weird, man. Like something's going on, and it's something fucked up. Something really fucked up is going on, number one. Number two, it really has to do with me. I am somewhere belonging in some fucked up shit. And so the first day when I actually started working, I get on my first call and I'm like, this doesn't feel right. You know what I mean? I'm on the call. And I know that they were listening because they told us. Well, we knew that they would listen in on our first week of work to see how we were. And I just told the guy, I'm like, dude, do not buy this solar panel. Whatever you do not buy this. I got on the second call, told them the same thing, third call. When the third call finished, they called me into the office and fired me. But, it could have been a scam. I don't know. It just didn't seem right. After that, I get a job at a place called Something Shareholders. And it's supposed to be like an administration job, and they're doing deals with companies, and it was in a really nice place in downtown Toronto in the financial district on King Street, on like the 32nd floor. Beautiful office, by the way, high up there, very nice, luxurious looking office. Again, it just felt like bullshit. On my fifth day on the job, I didn't go to work and I robbed the bank. Well, I didn't go to work for like 2 or 3 days. And then the third day of not going to work, which is a Friday, I robbed the bank on a Friday, by the way. So I robbed the bank on a Friday. During daytime, during banking hours. I don't remember what the time was, but it was definitely before 3 o'clock. Anyways, at 3 p.m. Anyways, I robbed the bank, and then life totally flipped or changed. The thing is that I just couldn't get into the scamming shit. You know what I mean? The thing with me was that I was considered very pussy because I was being very safe. Now, I did gangster shit, but I was very safe in the way that I was very basic minded like a child. and I wasn't growing, and you know all about that, but I wasn't growing, and I wasn't able to get into shit that I didn't like. If it didn't feel right, I was just against it. I remember I worked at Best Buy for 2 months, and something didn't feel right. They would kept pushing this. They call it performance saving plans and performance replacement plans, all this insurance shit. I told you I had a conversation with a customer who told me all about insurance scams and things like that. The point is that like Best Buy just seemed like some like it seemed like something was going on there, like in the culture where it was just like you're like scamming people or something. And by the way, they had a loss prevention office security that was useless. People would run. Now I didn't see this, but I heard about people running shit. Like even managers driving their vans up to the back warehouse and then just stocking up like $5,000 TVs and stocking stuff up in their vans and things like that. Very precarious, you know. I mean, I think, yeah, I was fired. They told me that, okay, you're fired. I'm like, whatever. I don't know if I resigned or fired. I didn't really give a shit because I didn't want to work there anyways. And I worked there for the summer. And when school started, I left. Just like when I was 15, I had a job at a grocery store. When school started, I left. I left in September for the grocery store. I left in September for Best Buy. So I don't know. I'm just not into scams. I'm not into scamming people. I'm not into car insurance scams. I'm not into home insurance scams. I'm not into anything. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's it. And I mean, I always knew that I wasn't guilty of anything, and everybody knew that I wasn't guilty of anything. But it made no difference because I wasn't living life. Like I wasn't living my life. It was like I was living life for somebody else, to be very honest. It was like I was just following directions and I was just living for other people constantly. After I robbed the bank, it was very well known. I mean, I went to jail and everybody knew that I was a bank robber. I went countless times to the courthouse. I'd been in police interrogation room when I was first arrested and interrogated about the robbery. I've been to the courthouse like so many times, at least like 25 or 30 times had I made trips to the courthouse, either from jail in the box or attending on bail in the seats. But I'd been to court so much. Everybody knew that I was a bank robber. I was in the newspaper, in the city newspaper, in our local city newspaper and the city west of us. I was in their local newspaper. So everybody knew that I was a bank robber. That kind of opened up the whole criminal world, and I was a bit of a criminal. I would rather turn to criminality versus do legal scams, like fuck people over legally. I would rather choose the criminal option and work for the right thing than work for the wrong thing, even if it's legally and everything's government approved. That was my thing. After robbing the bank, I started, a little bit into the criminal world, into other elements of the criminal world. Now that I was a bank robber and, it was understood that no matter who I was, even if I was like a child, I was a bank robber and I could be involved with people who were into serious shit. And it wasn't just one person. I mean, I was involved with with a lot of different people who were in fucked up shit. And they knew that I was in that world. And they knew that I wasn't in any other world. Like I was the bank robber in every world. You know what I mean? That became my label. That became who I was. No matter where I was, everybody knew that I was a bank robber. I told you one day I gave shit to a guy. I gave him like I was, I really gave it to him. Trying to fuck me over at the Apple store, and it was at and then when I came out, I was walking down, and two guys were walking by, like middle-aged men in their 40s, and one of them just turns to me and goes, "You really gotta rob a bank to do something like that," because I really gave it to him publicly in front of everybody, and nobody did shit. So it was like, you really gotta rob a bank to do that kind of thing. Robbing the bank kind of put me into the criminal world and introduced me to the criminal world. Everybody, when I went to that five-star hotel in Dubai, they knew I was a bank robber too. Even though it was international, everybody knew who I was. That's why people can fuck with you, and people can get fucked for fucking with you in that world. In the world that I was in as a bank robber, people can fuck with you, and people can get fucking with you. It's like a double-edged sword, eh? But that's all past. I started my life officially. I mean, first thing was getting out of, this self-imprisonment that I had been stuck in for 31 years. learning being in that world, by the way, I learned so much about the uncanny and the unconventional that I was able to find my way out of that, start my life, and I just had 4.5 months, I've made like huge gains, and I've become who everybody thought I always was, like who people actually thought I was. I'm becoming more of that. And that's who I'm gonna be, and that's who I am, and I'm not gonna change that, and nothing's gonna change it for the world, not death. Even if I die, there's gonna be I'm gonna live on in this world, man. I'm gonna live through somebody, you know what I mean? I'm gonna live through somebody who shares the same morals and values and the same ideas. Even if I die, I'll be living through them. So even if I die, no matter where I am, dead or alive, no matter what the case is, I'll always be living on in the world, and they know that. They know I'm here to stay. They know if I establish myself, and they know I'm not leaving. And that's the deal. And yeah, that's it. That's all I wanted to talk about. That has to do with money, by the way. I'm not going to make all the links for you and connections and explain everything to you and tell you all that. I'm not going to do that. You've heard my piece. You know where I'm coming from. You know who I am. You know what the deal is. And that's it. So I'm done. This is not a fire video. This is kind of an informational and comprehension video, something to comprehend. This is not a a fire video. The last video I posted, that is all goddamn fire. Don't miss the last video. When you see this video uploaded, look at the video uploaded previous to this, and it has fire emojis on the title, fire emojis on both sides. Do not miss that video. I am telling you, think of me as a scammer, a Bitcoin scammer, whatever you want to call me. Do not miss that video, okay? That is fire. I should have at least 10,000 people watching that video, whatever the case is, all right? Even if it doesn't show up. All right, listen to me. I got to have 1,000 people, even if they don't put it up there, the numbers. I got to have at least 1,000 people watching that entire video. I'm out.